Hey YouTube, Hashua here. Trying to help out with some people that are seeking. If you were brought to this video, pay attention, watch it to the end. I am not a professional speaker or video presenter or anything like that. So um, I'm trying to convey a message here that is literally in front of all of us to be looking into right now. And what I'm finding on the internet is that a lot of guys are talking about this Revelation 12 1 and 2 sign. I'll read it for you real quick. And there appeared a great a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed in the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head was a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. That verse is what they're calling the sign in the heavens that is happening September. They're saying September 23rd. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say September 21st through the 23rd. No man knows the day or the hour, which is fine. But that's a verse that it's not a license to be lazy in your searching, but it is a correct. No man knows. However, there's other ways to debunk that fairly easily. There are many reasons why we can't just throw that out there and say, oh, nobody's going to know. All throughout the Bible it says he lets his prophets know. No man knows, because he'll probably let his children know. I don't have a direct quote for that one, but the prophets works. But of course no man knows, because the earth is a globe, and it has different time sets all over the place. And then there's another reason too. It's because there's also a spiritual side to this. And I'm not going to really get super deep into the spiritual side of it yet. I put another video up about Revelation and what happens in September and why you don't understand. If you haven't seen that one, go to my channel or whatever. Look at that one. Take it very seriously, because that one is dealing with chapter 1 of the book of Revelation, which is the key chapter on the instruction manual to understand the rest of Revelation. But right here on Revelation 12 sign, we wanted to point out some things in Scripture that are also pointing to this day and time, and that a lot of people aren't talking about. Anybody can take this video and the information I'm putting out. I'm just repeating stuff that's in the Scripture. So, take it, talk to God about it, and see where it fits in your stuff. Now, one of the things that a couple of guys are talking about, sorry if I don't know their names, but they're talking about a little bit, is when in Genesis 6:3, God says he's not going to contend with man forever because he's flesh and God's spirit, and he will only live 120 years. That's basically, it's 120 jubilees since Adam is what they're coming up with for the most part. That's a real big sign. This is year 5777. That happens this year. The sign's happening this year. The world's falling apart. Okay, guys, wake up. The verse that I haven't heard anybody talk about whatsoever would be Genesis 18, 14. And I don't usually take stuff like per verse, but here it sticks out like a sore thumb to me. And it says, is there anything too hard for the Lord? And, my automatic answer to that is no. I've seen too much. I've been through too much. No, nothing. And that's an easy question for me to answer. So that one's done. But he says, I will return to you according to the time of life. Now, we just discussed the time of life from Genesis 6:3 is 120 years or 120 jubilees. And if you've had any time in the text, you'll understand that sometimes days means years, weeks means it's just. And if you look in Daniel, it talks about all that stuff. But study that stuff on your own. I'm just throwing this stuff out there for you for a little more depth about the 12 sign. So it says, I will return you according to the time of life when Sarah gives birth to a child. Now, what's happening in the 12:1 sign is she will be with child travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. Now, a noble woman is a woman with a crown on her head, and right here it says, upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So that's a noble woman. So a noble woman is going to give birth to a child. God's going to come back. That's what he says. So there is more than one meaning to this 12, 1, 2, and through 5. I mean, lots of meanings. There's meanings in the sky, and then there's the meanings in our personal walk, and it all fits perfectly if you understand how to do the first chapter of Revelation. But I'm pointing out the milk here. This is not the meat part. I'm not even getting into that stuff because it would just be way over people's heads, and you need to figure that out on your own through your Creator. But the name Sarah in chapter, or excuse me, in Genesis 18:6, the name Sarah means noble woman. So when the noble woman gives birth, he's going to come back. And here we have the noble woman giving birth, and that's happening now. So it's just something more to throw into your arsenal of understanding that this is a sign. Signs can't be debunked. That's what it is. It's a sign. It's not predicting a day. You want to get into the days, it's the last day of 5777, Feast of Trumpets, all that stuff. Something's going to happen, and you don't want to miss it. You don't want to be sitting around on September 24th scratching your head saying, what did I miss? You missed something, and most of the world is going to have missed it. So the only way not to miss it is look at my other video on the chapter 1. It unlocks the entire book of Revelation. So just want to throw this out there, say, hey, look, there's more evidence than they're even talking about. It's all over the place. Knowledge is being revealed in the end times. That's what's happening. I'll probably do another video on some visions I've had. I've got a few friends that they've been having visions as well. They are all coinciding. And we're not to despise prophecy, and that's what visions are. And if you're not having visions, or they're negative visions or dark visions, something wrong with the walk. So, get in the light. God is light, and that's just the way it is. So read or watch the first video, read the book of Revelation, 3rd verse, gives you a blessing for doing so. Read it out loud. Get away from the doctrine that the churches have taught us. Forget it. Open your mind. Have readiness of mind, because it's extremely important. You don't want to be sitting around. A lot of people are getting their hopes up right now. They're like, he's coming back. They're coming back, but I'm not going to set a date. And they're going to be on September 4th. They're going to be or September 24th. They're going to be very upset, and they're not going to know what did I miss, and they're going to start doubting, and they're going to start, doing all kinds of crazy things, and making a lot of people are going to look like fools. So know what's coming. No, don't think. No, and get into the book of Revelation, and do what John was doing, and the mystery's all right there. Revelation 1:20 is the mysteries revealed by Jesus himself. So just caution, listening to men, including myself. I don't ask you to believe me at all. Just do exactly what the first chapter of Revelation shows that John is doing, and experience it for yourself. God shouldn't be a belief. God should be an experience. And my whole point in the last 3-4 years of my life has been not about beliefs. It's been about truth. I don't care what the truth is. I don't care what the truth is. I just need to know it. I need to have that knowledge, because his people die for lack of it. And it starts with you. It doesn't start with your church. It doesn't start with pastors. It doesn't start with video guys. So you just have to ask yourself, am I more in love with my church, or am I or do I desire the Creator more? And how am I going to get to this truth? Well, that's basically it. Sorry if I'm rambling a little bit. Peace.